Okay, we managed to get the first thing right, and that is that we actually have a live stream going. That's really awesome. Last night we battled for around an hour and had to revert to Zoom to actually do the members live chat. So, for those of you that are new here, welcome. For those of you that aren't members and are interested in the member section, click the join button and then go and watch that content. And those of you that are members that have missed the live chat last night because YouTube just wouldn't let me go live for 2 hours, I managed to do a Zoom meeting. We could only allow 100 people in. And then I uploaded the recording. So it's in the normal video upload section. I see almost 500 people have watched it. So thank you very much for being a part of this community. We are discussing law tonight. And I'm not a law expert, but I understand the concept of law better than most law experts do because they learned law at varsity, a place of indoctrination and stupidification. And because of this, I can give you a perspective, an upside down perspective on law. And I'm going to go back to something very basic, and that is the definition of law. And I'm going to discuss two different definitions with you. And this is going to be fun because this is going to make you see laws in a totally new light. And why is this important? There's many people that have asked me about the census that's coming around, about the United Nations, about mandates, about all sorts of things. And I've said many times before, no one person is above the law, but we are the law. Now, I've said in the past, I will explain this to you, and I think the time has come. And there's a lot of debate happening out there with people that call themselves legal experts, and I'm not a legal expert. So I'm not an expert in specific laws. But I'm going to show you tonight what law is. And that is more important than the law itself. So we almost have 100 people watching. It's really awesome. This is going to be really fun, people. So the first definition of law that I'm going to give you is the one that's been drummed into your brain. Okay? So I want to get that over and done with, and then I want you to spit it out, trample on it, and throw dirt over it. Okay? Bury it forever. So what is a simple definition of law? And I like the fact that it's called the simple definition of law because it is stupid. Okay? And this is what you've been taught in school, at varsity, etc. And many a lawyer, an attorney, advocates feel important because of it. You are fools. You are fools because if the entire country's people decide that they don't want to abide by the law that you created, they will kill you or annihilate you or trounce on you. So your law means nothing if the people don't believe in it. But we'll get to that just now. But that is just a heads up on what we'll be covering now. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, one, a rule or set of rules. This is the simple definition of law, enforceable by the courts, regulating the government of a state, the relationship between the organs of government and the subjects of the state. I love how they call us the subjects of the state. Here they're telling you that if you are subject to law, you are a subject of the state. What a lot of twat. Okay, let's continue. And the relationship or conduct of subjects towards each other. So we're not called citizens here. Here they are telling you that you are a subject unto the law or subject unto other people. Fascinating concept you need to understand. And I've been speaking about this at length. The difference between being a citizen, which we are not, and being a subject. We are all subjects unto the current legal system, and we need to change that by becoming the government. But let me continue. Then they say further, a rule or body of rules made by the legislature. So this is courts, okay? The legislature or people that actually create the laws of a country. So this is the simple definition of law, and you've been taught the simple definition of law for most of your life. What a complete farce. Now let's get to the real definition of law. Okay. The system of rules which a particular country or community recognizes as regulating the actions of its members and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. So the second definition, which is similar, a rule defining correct procedure or behavior in a sport. Those are things that people are willing to subject themselves to. And I want you to understand the difference, because this is the kind of law we need in future. This is the kind of law that most people in South Africa subject themselves to. Communal law, or law that everyone accepts. In other words, common law. What people decide goes on the day is what is the law right there in that moment. And I've spoken about that many times within my double O days meetings. So I'll repeat that. The system of rules which a particular country or community recognizes, so it must be recognized as regulating the actions of its members, regulation, the actions of its members, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. Now, our government has decided with the pandemic to impose regulations on us, okay? And they have tried to enforce it through penalties. So that is within normal law. The only problem is that everyone did not recognize this. If you do not recognize a penalty, if you do not recognize a regulation, it means nothing. It means nothing. Okay. So I want to make it clear to you that we can decide what law is. And in real law, you cannot be a subject unto it, because it says here that that you recognize it yourself as regulating the actions of its members, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. It doesn't mean that you will, and the people will make that decision. So a very powerful differentiation between that and a rule or a set of rules enforceable by the courts regulating the government of a state, the relationship between organs of government and the subject of the state, and the relationship or conduct of subjects towards each other, a rule or a body of rules made by the legislature. So I want you to take your mind and take it to a new way of thinking with regards to law. Okay? Please like this video and share this video. What I'm imparting to you now is crucially important for you to understand. If you want to understand why we can change our governance system, our electoral system, to a direct election system where we can directly elect our leaders, why we decide what the laws of the country should be, and why I completely reject the simple definition of law. I reject the definition that government gives to law, that institutions give to law. I will not be a subject unto them. I only accept the definition of common law. And because of that, or what I consider to be common law, because of that, it cannot just be imposed on me. So I want to put this into a plain and simple example for you. We have suddenly jumped to almost 200 people watching. I really want to welcome you. If you have come in late, please watch the first part of this video before you just cut in at the end. Make sure that you get the full context. What I want to explain now is, in our country, the majority of people were subject to a governance system that was given to us by Britain. So Britain came here, they conquered, and they decided they're going to take all our minerals. They are going to do to the country what they want, and they're going to put a governance system in place to make us subjects. Once we are subjects, we will be subject to the laws that are imposed on us, not laws that we agree to. So no one in any election ever said, I agree to all these laws. We were never forced all to vote in an election. So the amount of people that actually go and vote in an election and they agree to subject themselves to the law of the land, those people, you can say, are subject to the law. The rest are not. In the last local government elections, more than half of the country that's eligible to vote did not vote. Way more. In the last national elections, more than half of the country that was eligible to vote, just more than half, did not vote. That is them saying that they don't subject themselves to the system. That is what they are saying. We are not interested in your laws. It means nothing to us. We will not be subject unto it. And the interesting thing is, because we have this constitution that was given to us, which is higher than the laws are created to govern what happens in the constitution, it is the highest law in the country. And the constitution is based on the Bill of Rights, what is called the Bill of Rights, which is a complete farce. Because if you look at the Bill of Rights, it'll tell you have all of these rights. None of us see those rights because it's impossible to impose them. And then a couple of paragraphs later, a politician gets the right to override all of those rights that you have if they think it's good to do so for the greater good. And I explained this in my live tonight with the channel members and went into a bit more detail. But think about this. We are the law. If we are the law, we cannot be subjects unto a law that's imposed on us by any government, because we are the government. Because the Constitution says that elections is the highest court in the country. And I need to make this clear to you, because this gives you an idea of how we can change laws in the country and change the system in the country without war. If we want to avoid war, we have to use laws that we will subject ourselves to, create that system, and vote for that system and get rid of the other system. This is vital to understand. And that's why direct elections can bring us closer to that. And that is why electing our leaders directly will be a huge step forward if the voters are prepared for it and are willing to, in mass, support the idea. Now, the fact that most people in South Africa don't support the current system tells you that we are a lawless society. In other words, the subjects, us, do not want to subject ourselves to the laws that's been given by government, because the parliament passes the laws that are supposed to be in line with the constitution. Many of those laws were still there from the so-called apartheid government era and before. A lot of those laws come from Britain, was imposed on us, and many people choose not to live by those laws. For instance, a law that says that you may not smoke dagga. I'm using one example. Please don't go and smoke dagga because of this. I don't think it's a good thing to do because it affects how you think. However, a person should absolutely have the right to consume dagga in whichever way they want, if they want to. And if they choose not to obey a law that says that you're not allowed to smoke dagga, they are not subject to that law. And then they can face penalties because of that. Okay. Now, in the current society, that is how it works. You can decide not to be subject to a law. You can say, listen, yeah, I'm not going to stick to 120 when I'm driving on the N1. I'm going to drive 160. Then you are not subject to that law. And you can then face penalties if the majority of society agree that if you go faster than 120, you should be locked up. But did we ever agree to these laws? No, we did not. And this is a point I want to make, and I'm not going to take much more of your time. We did not vote for these laws. The people that imposed these laws on us made us subjects to these laws. Most of them are long dead, or most of them are not active in politics today. And we just happily go along and don't question things. We just think that, oh, that law is there, therefore we must obey it. Twak story. There is no such thing. We decide what we will be subject to and not. And if we consider a law to be bad or evil, or we don't want to be subject to it, we won't be. And that is the power of people. We have been fooled in school, in varsity, in college, that the law is the law and you must obey it. There is no such thing. That is the simple definition. Let me go back to the real definition of law. The system of rules, not law, which a particular country or community recognizes. So if you don't recognize it, it's not a law. That's the first thing you need to understand. As regulating the actions of its members, not mandatory or anything. it regulates, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties. And those penalties can be varying. It's like I said last night in the live stream, that freedom doesn't come at a cost. With freedom comes responsibility. And if you act irresponsible, other people might impose penalties on you immediately. If you decide to steal something from someone, that person might decide to blitzem you on the spot. That is them exerting what they believe to be justice right then and there. You don't need a court for that. There's no court that made a decision that you're going to blitzem that oak that just stole your thing. No court. Okay. So every single day, you have people in what is called a police service. They are actually more of a police force for the past 2 years that are supposed to make sure that we follow regulations and laws of the country. When a lot of these people themselves don't follow the law, a lot of them themselves are criminals in the police force, in the military, stealing, bribing, doing all sorts of things, abusing people, killing people, maiming people. So, because these things have been imposed on us and we don't accept it, we have become what is called a lawless society. And we need to reorganize ourselves, because having laws is not necessarily a bad thing if you follow the natural way that laws are supposed to be grown in communities or in countries where the common law of the people become the mainstay. And that should naturally happen if the system of governance you have allows for that. The current system does not. The current system does not allow you to develop common law in your community or in society. It does not do that, because we have a captured political system where political parties choose people who are subject to the party to stand as MPs or councillors or MPLs in provincial government. These people are not elected by you. They are frauds. Even under our constitution, they are a fraud. And that is why the Electoral Act was ordered by Concord to be changed within 24 months. Has anything happened? The time is running out fast for this, what we call a government, when it's not really a government, to actually decide how to change the Electoral Act so that individuals can be elected under a direct election system. Why are laws important with regards to this? Because we have to change our constitution and the laws that enforce that constitution that we are all willing to subject ourselves to. So when we change the system in the country, the majority of people need to be a part of that. Now, the most people that ever voted was 78% of people that were registered to vote. That was a large group of people that voted in that specific election. However, they were not 70% of those eligible to vote, which means that more than 30% of people eligible to vote did not subject themselves to the system or the laws that govern that system. This is significant. And this is significant not just in South Africa, but worldwide, where there's countries where only 20 to 30% of people rock up to vote. This puts us in a situation right now where most governments are so frail that the slightest uprising from their citizens can overthrow them and literally plunge the globe into chaos. So I am not against the existence of law, but I believe that common law needs to be enacted by people that decide upon that law that they agree on in their community and in their country. And it's something that needs to be developed, not imposed on you, because that is what it currently is. I've really enjoyed laying this out for you. I think it's a very important concept to understand. And hopefully you will like this video and share this video so that as many people as possible can view this. I've not looked at the the comments up until now. But thank you for all your comments. I will go and read them later. But if there's any questions that you have right now, I will take about 10 minutes to answer some questions. And just know that there is a plan on the ground right now where we will change the way we are seen as subjects. We will become citizens, super citizens. If you become a proper citizen, then you are part of a community and part of a country where people are willing to subject themselves to common law that they can see that most people agree with. And this is developed from the ground up, not from the top down. And that is why the heading for this video says that it's an upside down approach. We have to be the law. This is crucial. And wherever a large group of people decide they want to do something a certain way, whether they all decide to run into the ocean in a place absolutely butt naked, and the law says you're not allowed to do it. If everyone is doing it, no cop is going to touch those people. Now, I'm not saying you must go and do this. I am just using an example. If everyone decides that they want to wear tinfoil hats on one day, and there's a law that says you may not wear tinfoil hats, then all of those people, nothing's going to happen to them because they are the law. And I have seen this in action in Sea Point, where a large group of people are assembled, the police descend on them, and the people chase them away. Because the people are the law, not the police. And they understand this. So the only time we can be subject to laws and it can be enforced on us is when the force that the government or the state applies to us is proportionally larger than we can exert in retaliation. It is that simple. And I'm not saying that you must break the law. We need to do this through the current laws that exist, and they are there. If those laws are removed or the constitution is changed in such a way that we cannot change the constitution anymore, we need to go and take other steps, which I will not discuss in this forum. But currently, we can use the constitution of this country, as flawed as it is, the Bill of Rights of this country, as flawed as it is, and the current laws of the country, as flawed as it is. We can use it to create a new system. It allows for that. And as long as it allows for that, we have a gap to change this country, and we have to use common law to do that. We have to become active citizens, not subjects. So when you walk around in public, if a police officer tells you to do something, you have to obey them. If you are one person, you are not above the law. But we are the law. I want that to be my final statement. I will take questions from you now for the last 7 minutes, and then we can go and have a nice Friday evening. I really want to thank all of you that came into this live stream. Remember, if you want to become a channel member and watch all that content, you can click on the join button below this video. If you want to subscribe, click the subscribe button and the bell icon if you're lucky, and you might get notified of new videos in future. I really enjoyed giving you this. Ruth says, yes, I wish people were all naked. Clothing is the first form of disguise. No politician would be in power if they were all kalgat. Ruth, that is hilarious. Justin says, remember to like and share. Thanks, Justin. Excellent. Change the strategy, tactics, and end results. From Jonathan, thanks. Derek, you and me are the law. Unity, change all things man-made. All laws should serve good people. Derek, that's a brilliant description, because we can now define what the common law should be, and it should serve good people. And that definition might vary from community to community. Okay, and Ruth has got another comment. Please, those who have not done so, like the video so others get to see this crucial info. Very important. Shirley says, we are the 99.99999%. Absolutely. Hannah, can we refuse to participate in the survey? Absolutely. So legally, you are not obliged to allow people into your home. So there are laws that protect you with regards to that. Now, only if literally you are forced by a court to do so, do you have to take part in anything. So no one can force you to take part in anything. I certainly will not. That's my decision. I can't tell you what to do. Michael, government's law is not law, but statute. Absolutely. There's what is a... I don't even want to discuss that, Edrich. I discuss with you what I think is important, so I don't get involved in what other people are doing. Yes, Marlene, I believe he did. The one thing I want to say about the CCMA, I spoke to a lady that I advised to go to the CCMA so that we could test the CCMA with regards to the mandates. And she did so. And when the case happened, it was clear from the information that she provided, and this was not public, that the CCMA was scripted. They had already decided what was going to happen. From that day on, I told people it's pointless going to the CCMA. So the only thing that you can do is go to a court and then hope that you have a judge that still has some backbone. But then if you go to the Supreme Court of Appeal, anything can be found against you still when you have a bunch of rats sitting there. That's part of this new world order that's being created. Okay. So thank you very much for coming onto this live stream. I really enjoyed talking about this topic. It's been a long time coming. And I will put those definitions of law in the community tab so you can go and read them. So remember, in the community tab, it will be available for everybody. Look at the two definitions and how we have been subverted for years, how you've been taught nonsense in school, and how you've not been given the truth. Now, this doesn't mean that you won't live with the consequences if you annoy someone else with something. 1,000 people might decide to run naked into the ocean, and 10,000 people might come there and corner them all because they're not happy with it. That is how the world works, okay? So you will never stop that. And that has got nothing to do with government. That's got to do with human nature. So humans need to negotiate how they want to commune with each other. That's what a community is. And if you do not fit into a community, you'll be excommunicated from it. People will ask you to leave or you'll get thrown out. Like back in the day when people were thrown out of the city walls. If you lived outside the city walls, then you were not protected. But very soon, as I've warned before, those people outside the city walls, they become more and more and more. And later they start ganging up and they start attacking the people that walk in and out of the city. And soon they are a force to be reckoned with. And very soon they overrun that city. So be very careful what you do with a person that's a problem to you. You need to watch them closely. It's always to keep the devil you know close to you than throw them far away from you. Believe me, it's the best tactic. Okay. Does this think that there may be a push to disenfranchise most people? It's already happening. I mean, that push has been in South Africa since forever. So that's not a new thing. It's always been the case. Let me see. Other comments. Yeah, I don't think the things that I discuss are things that I know. So anyone can go and research these things. People might have a different opinion to me, and that's fine. I don't deal with theories on this channel because it's pointless to do that. I don't like to give my speculative thoughts or ideas. I work with things that government has put out there, and I can then use that against them. I discuss two definitions that's accepted by the world today. So using those definitions, I've given you my perspective on those definitions, and that's what the channel is about. I give my perspective on history as well as the future with regards to all the topics that I cover. And it's a perspective. And you will see that you won't find a more accurate perspective anywhere in South Africa on YouTube at the moment, and maybe anywhere in the world right now, because of the methods that I use to put information out there, and because the method that I use of getting the information. Because most of that information comes from personal experience. It's my experience. I'm not internet literate. I did not go and learn on the internet. This channel is unique because of that. And those of you that are new, go and watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series. I've opened myself up, even as a nuclear professional, on this channel. So people can ridicule me. They can try and do to me whatever they want. But one thing that they cannot do is stop what is happening to us right now. And the fact that I know the plan from beginning to end and how it will be implemented. Time frames, I'm not a prophet. I can't tell you what the exact time frames are. I can't tell you how tactics will change along the way, but I know exactly what is being planned, and I've laid out exactly what will happen. When, I can't say, but it will happen. And every single time that I discuss that, it's not because I'm a prophet or I've got a crystal ball. I use common sense and knowledge, proper knowledge. I know how to discern rubbish from truth. It's not difficult. And once you do that, your life will become a lot easier. Like I say, if you want further information to be able to discern, join this channel's membership and go and watch those videos and join us Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. And then you will be able to get the necessary info to change how you think and change your life. I really want to thank you for coming onto this live stream. I'm going to say good night now. Moderate says the globalist reset agenda has failed. Is Ukraine plan B? You know, there's many plans actually. There's never just one plan. And the thing is, many of their plans have failed in the past. Let me make this clear. They've had many plans to get rid of fiat currency and many other things that have failed. I'm sitting with many documents where intricate information that came from committee of 300 meetings was filtered through to my father. And that information makes it clear that certain plans did not come to fruition because the people stood up and said, stuff that. They applied common law, and these globalists are struggling. So they have to use more and more extreme and severe measures, including literally brainwashing your child against you and making your child believe in this new world order that's been created amongst us as South Africans and citizens around the world. So your child is the target. It's a soft target, a very clever way for these globalists to get their point across, cut us out because we have not worked for them, and then indoctrinate our kids. If they can get control of our kids, it's tickets, people. And like I said, the hashtag Leave Our Kids Alone movement has already made inroads in this country, has made ministers change their minds. And we will continue to do that. So hashtag Leave Our Kids Alone. You can go follow it on Facebook. That group is over 130,000 ready to fight people. And, you know, when people are willing to do things, they understand common law. They understand that they don't want to be subject to something, that they are creating the law. It changes the paradigm completely. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and join my family now. Please like and share this video. We need as many people as possible to watch this. And thank you to those of you that have come on. Enjoy your weekend. Try and get a bit of a rest. I'm going to be working non-stop. I'll be putting out more videos this weekend, important ones. So thank you so much. Remember, this is part of the important live stream series of videos. They are in a specific playlist. The important live streams, go and watch the others if you have not yet already. They've all been very successful. Go and share them, like them. Make sure that as many people as possible can see them. They are available to the public. Thank you very much. Good night.